Wow, you go ahead and 6:30, that's pretty high. So, all the work, was certain, but.
Remember, there's a flag in education.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think the flight's in front.
It's in front of mine, in the hallway.
Oh.
That's it. We can bring it back up, because we're used to it. Right. So I'll bring it back up. George Collis.
Yep.
Karen Winchester here, Jerry Burton.
Here.
Steve Ruth, Jen Ryan. I would move to excuse Steve. He did not know about the meeting until he got with his Wednesday packet. He's going to try to make it, but he's not sure. So just in case he doesn't.
So motion to approve. Or to, I'm sorry, motion to dismiss.
I did. I motioned
Karen.
and Derek.
Recording. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. That's my fault. I had communicated with Steve that he was available for the general time period. And then once I was finally able to catch up with the very beginning of the term, I forgot else. So I was prepared to apologize to him for that. Agenda approved. Chair, entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Motion by Burton, support. Support by Chester. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Public comment on agenda items only. Members of the public can address the board on agenda items only. Once recognized by the supervisor, comments are limited to a maximum of 3 minutes. The board may extend this time by majority vote. Prior to addressing the board, members of the public shall state their name and address for the record. The second public comment is available in the new business for all other comments. Thank you for your cooperation. Anyone for public comment? Pat, is that enough?
Mary.
Mary, no, I saw Mary, but I wasn't sure what she was. Oh, okay, Mary.
Mary Blanchard, 3444 Old Creek Drive, Holland, Michigan. And I have a couple of things. I did get an announcement last week regarding the budget being on the Wednesday board meeting, but did not get any kind of notice about this budget meeting until this morning. And just wondering about the transparency with that, because obviously we don't have very many people here. The other thing is I do have a concern again regarding raises. I guess my concern is that what are we comparing it to? Because when looking at the comparisons that were used in the 2020 HR human resource company description, you're comparing Waterford, Commerce, and other things that seem like they're quite a ways out of our comparison value. Looking at some recent ones through Tri-County, Tyrone Township back in March 19th, 2024, they had an announcement. And incidentally, Tyrone Township was almost exactly the same number of residents in the 2020 census as Holly Township. In this March 19th announcement, of meeting minutes. They listed their supervisor. Let's see. The clerk's salary was $60,380. The treasurer's was $53,880. And the supervisor's salary was $53,880. Fenton Township, even their own township attorney came out in their April 2nd meeting of this year and stated that their wages were way, way underpaid and was going to undertake a wage study for their residents. I haven't heard anything on that, how that came out, but our increase of raises has been very significant over the last, I would say at least from 2020 and even before that. For the clerk, supervisor, and treasurer to be making $80,187. The assistant or clerk administrator, $59,454. The treasurer administrator, $50,260. And for the assistant to the supervisor in code enforcement, it's $53,239. Now, I'm fine with raises if they're warranted and they are comparable to other communities that are similar to Howard. But the other part of that is what is being done for the residents. Because I think if you look at activity, nothing has changed very much for the residents. And that's something that we need to work on. One of the top things that people ask for is recreation and meeting space and things like that. The farmstead is a prime example. For 4 years, the same piles of debris have been around the barn. If it could at least be moved out of the way, then people and the residents could actually use that property again, even for picnics or something. But as it is, it's not usable. I went after the NACO meeting. Supervisor Cullis announced that the road to the north part of the farmstead is in now. So I did walk over there. It does look like it's in. The state of the boards that were brought over from Oakland County parks are a mess. One of the piles of boards that had been brought over apparently were in the way of the board being, or the road being installed, and now they're just in a big pile. And they're not covered or anything. So I would like to see some improvement on that. Thank you.
Anyone with that?
Afternoon, 210 Franklin Street. Couple issues. One is you're having a workshop 2 days before you have to approve it before July. If I'm not mistaken, you're going to have a question about July. So what major changes are you going to make tonight? No. Next question would be, when was this? And I may have missed it, so I'm not. These salaries put out to the public. When did they set grand plan? But for the most part, the residents aren't getting anything from that at this time for quite some time to come. You know, I kind of like to hear where the work, and I understand we have 2 departments where I'm sure you can explain that they've had some increases, this, that, and everything else, and then, you know, more than willing to hear that out. But our supervisor, what in your job description has increased that much that kind of pay increase? Now, when I look at the deputy treasurer and the deputy clerk, 15% might sound like a lot to the public, but I'm looking at the amounts of money that they're getting right now and realize the clerk is in here or the treasurer is in here. They have to step in and run that job. In that situation, they're definitely going to take expense on this. I don't think it should be making $80,000 a year, but, I think it should be up there, according to what they're making now. And, you could say in comparison to other communities, well, the fact that you guys get elected based on the job, how much money you're gonna make, if that's the case, then you started off your careers in a very low-paying job. Don't criticize, people getting paid for their money. But I do look at positions, the preliminary, I could say a bit more. Treasurer, that would be something I don't know enough about. But I look at the supervisor's position, and I'm like, statutory-wise, it isn't that much. Anything else has been brought on by the supervisor, which is fine. I mean, I'm sure there's people out there grateful for some of the things that have been done. But if it's a case of I need it because I took on this responsibility, that's your choice. Not required. Not required. And I guess this tonight just really goes back to what has been an ongoing problem. When I was like, ongoing problem, workshop. This is nonsense. Workshop would have been 2 months ago. Where the public could have come. Hearing the salaries out there, publicly spoken at one of your meetings, not finding it out in the budget workshop. And sorry about the amount that I didn't realize that we're making sense. That to me is too much. Also, to be honest with you. If you're looking for those kind of bigger money in that, then there's the private sector. I'm sure you can get it. My wife supervises close to 70 people. And, has a budget 3 times the amount of the township. And she's making about $13,000 more than you guys. And I'm telling you right now, she works for that money. And, to think that she's sitting there watching somebody 4 days a week. Now, you can tell me you work afterwards and do things like that. You don't put in the hours that somebody makes that kind of money in the private sector. I can guarantee you that. But on the other hand, it's been a continuous problem. This has been a continuous problem. This should have been 2 months ago. And you should have had the courage to speak and say, and defend your actions by saying at a public meeting, this is what we think will work. Quite frankly, I think that should change. I don't think city board should be able to raise their own pay. Thank you.
Anyone else for public comment?
Amy Hellman, 6053 Great Lakes Drive. I am the assistant to the supervisor and the code enforcement officer for Holly Township. I've worked every election since 1999. I was the deputy clerk from 2003 to 2006. In 2013, I took on a documents retention program for the permanent document files that